Randi Rhodes used to ask me to be on her show all the time when she was in West Palm, and we would have these unbelievable screaming matches. She was out walking her dog, and all of a sudden she's just a mess. Got teeth out, she's got injuries all over her face. The Air America people just assumed the very worst about after all, how could Randi Rhodes, of all people, be picked out to be mugged when there were so many other good candidates to be mugged? Well, I think that's a little early to assume that, Bob. Give me a minute.
That seems more likely.
I knew that was coming.
I can't stop.
It's probably this weed I'm smoking, man.
So Randy's all beat up, and her substitute host goes on the air and says right-wingers did it. They picked her out, they found her, they followed her, they mugged her because they're trying to shut a left-wing radio up. It turns out she just fell.
Maybe it's severe talking.
Probably couldn't speak to host John Elliott to tell him he was just wrong. Now, that did not stop the lefties from commenting on this online.
Daily Kos, this one thing. You are pathetic, sick, and deserve to have Fred Thompson, Rudy Giuliani, and John McCain as your choices for president. What the f*** is wrong with you people? Are you that sick in the head that just because you don't agree with somebody's political views, you believe that they deserve to be mugged? Are you on the right that f***ing demented? And what real men these righties are. Beating up women. There's your men on the right. Women beating, bathroom stall sexting, little boy diddling jerks.
I suppose from that person's point of view, it's just a shame that Randy just fell over and broke those teeth out, huh?
Think progress. Those wackos realize that they're under pressure and are reacting in the only way they know how. Facts and reality are simply things that need to be beaten out of the way. I suspect and hope she'll recover quickly and not be subjected to PTSD. Maybe some of her listeners who live nearby could be her walking buddies.
Democrat underground. I think it was the brown shirts, not the Nazi leadership. Probably acting independently, as brown shirts often do. They don't need to be told who needs a beating. Walk free, 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 the message which is already quite strong. That it's open season on enemies of the Bush-Patin state. Yes, indeed, target key, prominent individuals. She wasn't robbed, and they literally smashed her teeth in. Kristallnacht must have been compromised of thousands of singular episodes like this one.
Oops.
Compared to the Holocaust.
Randy just did a header into the sidewalk, and whoops, they get really excited, don't they?
Democrat underground. This was politically motivated. Pretty damn sickening. The right-wing hate machine needs to take at least a little blame for this. They'll of course say they had nothing to do with it, but people like Ann Coulter gleefully encouraged it.
I wonder if it really bothers them to actually be this wrong.
Think progress. Are those who speak truth to power endangering their lives? Are we going back to like the 50s and the 60s when civil rights proponents were killed? Are people who speak out to protect and defend the Constitution need to be in fear for their lives? Will they ever learn if these attacks were committed by any of the rabid right-wingers who believe the lies fed to them by their conservative talk show hosts and whose feet they worship at?
I wonder if Randy is kind of embarrassed as she sits in her apartment, not walking her dog, trying to figure out where she'll work in the time and raise the money to get the implants for all those teeth that were knocked out. You know, I feel sorry for Randy. You trip, you fall, you're hurt. Your colleagues assume you were beat up and you could have been lynched.
Daily Kos. Ann Coulter says shit that encourages violence? Of course I have absolutely no evidence that A, the attack was indeed political, or 2, that Coulter's language inspired it. But this is sort of thing that is a natural consequence of what Coulter does. This is why Coulter is worse.
Air America radio personality apologized Tuesday for saying that a colleague, the liberal talk show host Randi Rhodes, had been the victim of a violent street crime mugging perpetrated by, quote, the right-wing hate machine. I apologize for jumping to conclusions based on an emotional reaction. Well, he probably got to go back and look at all of his judgments. See if his judgments about George Bush deserve a retraction. See if his judgments about the war deserve a retraction.
Has this guy ever been to New York City? There are no conservatives here.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It's just kind of crazy here. Like right-wing death squads were patrolling New York City.
Murray Hill.
You want to say, what part of New York? Where would that be?
I get tears in my eyes. I can hardly see.
Fred in Florida called me about Randi Rhodes and the left-wing hate machine. Is that what you're calling about, Fred?
You know, you're blasting Randi Rhodes and her ratings. Your ratings aren't much better.
Well, what ratings?
Your TV ratings. And
My
your
TV
radio
ratings are number one at 5 o'clock and have been for 6 years. What do you know about it, Fred?
I know a lot about it. You're laughing. This woman got hurt.
No, I am not laughing.
You were making fun of her.
No. Oh, well, I'm making fun of her because she fell over, and her friends say that somebody like me went out and mugged her. How can you defend that, Fred? Why are you going on the attack against me?
You're making the joke. You're supposed to be a Christian, man. How are you making?
What's that got to do with anything?
You're supposed to be a Jesus freak, John. That's what they all think.
What are you, Fred? What's the matter with you?
It's disgusting. That's why you got replaced on your 5 o'clock show with a woman.
I didn't get replaced. I brought in a co-anchor because I thought you would like her.
You moron.
You're going to give up your show. You're going to give up your show.
Hey, okay. Fred, you know, when my contract expires, I'll be 62 years old. Do you think I want to keep going in that studio every day? Maybe she'll just take over this show, and maybe that will make you happy. But you know what? Until that day comes, I'm going to keep bothering you.
You're a propagandist.
You're an idiot. You're a complete moron. You are a low-life little slimy slug who's misinformed. My ratings at 5 o'clock, I've been number one for 6 straight years, beating the Saints, Wolf Blitzer, Saints, left-wing Saints, Wolf Blitzer, and Chris Matthews. I've been beating them. Why is that?
Not just another talking head. There's substance behind his style. John Gibson on Fox News Talk.